I have read Trading in the Zone, and I'm going to teach you exactly what I have learned and then go over how you can apply that to your trading. Trading in the Zone. Trading in the Zone is the most influential and well-known trading book. Let's break it down. First of all, the importance of a winning mindset. Mark Douglas emphasizes within the book that strategy is just a small part of the puzzle and that your mindset is the main piece to complete that puzzle. Moving on, we'll start here. The power of consistency. Douglas stresses the power of consistency and understanding that the way to achieve this consistency is by being able to execute a model without emotion and with discipline, regardless of the market condition. So, consistency. That is basically where you are taking trades that are exactly the same as your model and you are not differing. This will create that consistent outcome that you'll be looking for. Okay? Within the book, he emphasizes the negative emotions traders face when confronted by the markets. These include fear, greed, FOMO, anger, and many others. These are the exact emotions that are going to keep you inside of that unprofitable stage. So how do we limit/understand these emotions? By limit, I mean minimize the damage they can do to your account balance. When I'm reading this, by the way, this is a part that I have added myself onto this. This isn't part of the book, really. By limit, I mean minimize the damage they can do to your account balance. The main way you can minimize this is by understanding when and why they occur. So how do we do that? And this leads you to journaling. The importance of journaling is overwhelming. Once you start journaling, you can document what causes these emotions and how to feel as a whole. This will help you avoid these emotions, therefore advancing your trading ability. Okay? So we'll go over this bit in a second. But we'll start with this. We'll go to this one actually first. So next is embracing uncertainty. Okay. So one of the most important lessons of the book is to embrace uncertainty, and that the market is inherently unpredictable by nature. Douglas states that instead of trying to predict every move, focus on risk and understand that each trade has an uncertain outcome. This mindset helps traders escape the pitfalls and fear of greed. Okay. So why is this important? You can have the best model in the world, but if you cannot execute it properly, then it is meaningless, as you essentially are not using the model, but gambling as a result of your own emotions. Next, we'll do money management. While the book is primarily about trading psychology, it also touches on the importance of how money management ensures you can stay in the game for the long haul. Okay, this is basically where you can take hits, you can take those losses, but eventually you're going to make it back because of your consistency. Okay. So being able to manage your risk, so you're not over leveraging, so you don't blow your account, will therefore keep you in that long run. Okay. So process over outcome. This is a very important one. Another key takeaway is that traders need to focus on the process instead of the outcome of individual trades. By trusting their edge and not focusing on individual outcomes, traders can improve their overall performance tremendously. Okay. So why does this actually help? Trusting the process instead of focusing on individual outcomes takes not only less stress off you, but actually forces you to trade with discipline. Okay. And now we have the 5 fundamental truths. And this is a section of the book which he basically goes over the truths that you have to fully believe into becoming a profitable trader. Okay. So the first one is anything can happen. You must accept the market's uncertainty and that any outcome is possible, preventing attachment to one result. Okay. Number 2 is, well, actually, let's go over each one first. So if we go over number 1, anything can happen, right? You must accept the market's uncertainty that any outcome is possible, preventing attachment to one result. This means that if you have 1 L, it doesn't mean anything because you could have 3 winners after that, okay? Well, you have to look at the long term. You might have a loss, win, and then you might have 3 losses. You're not going to quit after these 3 losses because you've already had 3 dubs, okay? Or you're going to have wins in the future. It just depends on your probability with your model, okay? So it's just looking at the bigger picture, really. You don't need to know what is going to happen to make money. Success comes from consistently applying a system with a strategical edge, not predicting the future. This slightly relates to this as well. I would say that this is basically the byproduct of this because you are trading a percentage-based probability model, right? So if you are thinking anything can happen, then you're aware of that because you're trading a percentage of model. So you're going to have those losses, you're going to have those wins, right? Okay, there's a random distribution between wins and losses for any given edge. Understand that your edge does not guarantee immediate wins. Losses are part of the game. So basically what this means is you cannot be stuck to the idea of that loss. You cannot take it to heart, because you need to understand that there is a random distribution between the wins and losses, okay? So you're going to have those losses, but you need to be able to push past that to understand that to have the losses, you need to have the winners, right? I always think of losses as you're running a business, right? So you're running a business within trading, and the losses are basically what it costs to run the business, okay? Right. Number 4, an edge is just an indication of a higher probability. Your system simply increases the odds of the outcome to another, right? So basically, essentially, what this means is all an edge is meaning that you're going to have more wins than losses, or you're going to have a higher RR. So you might have less wins than losses, but actually you're going to still win. So basically, it just increases your chance of making money over losing money. Okay, I can't do that. There we go. Number 5, every moment on the markets is unique. Each trade is a new event, meaning past results cannot dictate how a singular trade might play out. Okay, this is very, very simple. You are never going to have the exact same price action, so you need to understand that every single trade is literally completely individual, and that you will not be able to predict an individual trade's outcome. Okay, so moving on, I wanted to go over how to actually apply this to your guys' own trading. Okay, so let's read this. It's all well and good knowing about the book, but how can we apply it to our own trading? Building discipline, very important. Building discipline is so important to build off the charts as well as on the charts, as it creates a foundation that helps you stick to your rules when you're trading, okay? If you're someone who wakes up late or eats bad food when you know it's bad and skip the gym because you can't be bothered, it will translate straight to your trading, causing you to not have the discipline to follow your rules and trade emotionally, okay? So you have rules in place for a reason, right? And if you are not disciplined enough to stick to those rules and to respect yourself, and you know, those rules are in place to preserve your capital, okay? So if you don't have the discipline to actually hold those rules down, then you're going to break them and essentially lose money, okay? It's very, very simple. Okay, now creating a checklist. A checklist will keep things mechanical with your trading, making it much easier to stick to rules, etc. This could be entry, bias, or even pre-trade routine checklist. For example, if you are making a bias checklist, you would think of something like, are we delivering from a high time frame fair value gap? Are we respecting a side of order flow? So like, are we respecting bullish order flow? Are we respecting bearish order flow? Is there a high time frame IFVG? Or are there any obvious draws? Okay, something like that. So you would tick it off, tick. And then that will give you a nice mechanical idea of like what you're wanting to see, okay? So now we'll go to journaling. We've already touched upon this, but I wanted to just really re-empt it into you guys, okay? So we've already touched on journaling, but I wanted to reiterate how important it is. If you're failing with trading, then something you are doing must be causing those failures, and journaling is the only way to uncover those habits and act on them. Just take a second, take that in. Okay, moving on. We don't need to go into more detail with that. And then last but not least, we have meditation, okay? This is optional, but I like to meditate pre-market, as it puts me in a neutral state of mind so I have no bias. Bias not meaning where I think the market's going to go, but because had a bad morning, it could translate to your trading, so cleaning the slate is always a good idea, okay? So if you've had a bad morning, you know, you're not feeling great, something's happened and it's really irritated you, then you're more likely to be susceptible to those emotions, okay? So being able to wipe the slate clean is just really, really efficient way of, you know, trading with a clear head and going to the markets feeling good. I hope you guys have liked this breakdown. If you have, please let me know down below.